Well, what's going on, San Angelo Live? San Angelo in the Concho Valley. I'm Manny Diaz, publisher of SanAngeloLive.com. And hey, we have a special guest today. Probably one of the realest spellers in not only just West Texas, but the entire United States. Heck, just the entire world, if you will. It's Mr. Akash Vukoti. He just qualified for his fifth national Scripps Howard Spelling Bee, thanks to winning the regional over here recently, right here in San Angelo. And without further ado, let's bring him in. Akash, I'd like to say that I'm going to make you famous today, but that's impossible because you already are. You're probably more famous than most of us here in San Angelo.
Thank you so much. I mean, first of all, thank you for having me here. It's a super awesome opportunity, to be here on San Angelo Live.
Mhm.
And so thank you so much right off the bat.
Heck yeah. Well, we're not only are we going to talk to you today, but we're going to throw some spelling words at you. We're going to throw 5 words at you. We'll wait to that towards the very end. I know you're going to be prepared for that because just your brain is probably already wired to know every single word in the English dictionary.
Thank you so much. There's 470,000 words in the English dictionary, and it is a monumental task to, cover all of them. So the primary goal is to get to learn these words and I guess become friends with them. And by doing so, it'll be ingrained into your mind from which you can then recite those words when the time is right.
So you're 12 years old. You were the first 12 years old. You'll be 13 this May.
Yeah.
Back when you were a first grader, you were the first ever first grader to ever compete in the Scripps Howard National Spelling Bee. Now you're on your way to being 13. That's insane, man, because you've been doing this for so long. I mean, most kids would just care to just get there once, but you're going there for a 5th time now. Give me your thoughts on that.
I mean, I've been doing this for such a long time, and the primary reason is because this is something that I'm just so deeply interested in. It's basically my passion that I've been following for the past, for most of my life, really. I competed in my first spelling bee when I was 2.5 years old.
2.5?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
It was really, I was basically a baby by that point. But over time, my passion grew and grew and grew. And then in 2016, I became the first ever first grader to compete in the National Spelling Bee. That was when I was 6 years old. And I became the youngest boy to compete at the National Bee. And then literally the same week I won the 2016 regional spelling bee here in San Angelo. There were 2 hit shows that were done back to back on national television, and that would be Little Big Shots, the show with the absolutely awesome and fantastic Mr. Steve Harvey. That was at that point, when those shows aired, it basically flipped my life entirely.
I can only
upside down.
imagine. Yeah.
It was absolutely amazing. And so fast forward 2 years or so, and then I would be going to the National Spelling Bee for the 2nd time. And then that year, I became the youngest competitor on Dancing with the Stars because somehow they had done a juniors version and they called me onto it. And so I was there, and I did pretty well, I'd say. And then fast forward a little while after that, a few more shows and whatnot, and then on Netflix, there's a documentary film, award-winning, made about the spelling bee and about Indian Americans and the rise in the National Bee called Spelling the Dream. And this is in mid-2020, June or July. And I was featured on it. They had 4 of some of the brightest spellers
Wow.
in the spelling bee field, and I was on it. So like, I mean, huge thank you to the producer and director of the film, and it was absolutely awesome, and it got very good reviews from all over the world, which is super awesome.
I mean, you're a champion speller. We can put. I think that's safe to say. So, I mean, for a 12-year-old kid, you're a spelling champ. I can't imagine the books that you read. We'll get into that, but tell me. So, what do you do in your spare time? I mean, or do you have spare time? I mean, you're also on YouTube. You have more followers than St. Angelo Live or most other media outlets in the country. I mean, give me the nuts and bolts on that. What is Akash Vukoti do in his spare time?
Yeah, so I mean, first of all, thank you. And so I mean, for the most part, my spare time is mostly just things that I find interesting,
Mhm.
which just so happens to be everything, I guess. I'm really interested in all sorts of different things. There's all sorts of things I want to become in the future, and I tend to basically my spare time is a hodgepodge of everything I'm interested in.
Yeah.
So I play a few sports. I let's see. I'm also interested in learning languages because the English language is my passion, and
Sure.
naturally that extends to other languages as well. And as well as that, I'm also interested in machine languages as well. I'm really into coding. I find it very
Okay.
interesting that you can get a computer to do anything you want it to, and you can make all sorts of new innovations with that.
Yeah.
And then there's like loads of other things that I
Yeah.
am interested
You
in.
talk about other languages. Are you fluent in any other languages?
Not fluent, but I can read and write three languages. One of them is English, obviously,
Yeah.
and the other two are Hindi and Telugu. Hindi being one of the most spoken languages in India, where my parents are from, and given I'm Indian American, that makes sense. As well as that, Telugu is basically my mother's mother tongue or my parents' mother tongue. So
Wow.
of course, I've come to understand it very well, and I can read and write fluently.
That's pretty cool, man. Imagine you read a lot because your understanding of all these crazy words. Or what kind of books do you read? I mean, I imagine just your brain is filled with so many different things. What kind of books do you read?
Okay, so I'm gonna be very honest here. When I say that I usually don't read books.
Really?
I mean, I think this, like, one of the first voices I've ever said, I don't usually read books that much, but, I guess, if you could count reading online, then I would say that the book that I read the most often is Wikipedia.
Okay.
Because, I mean, knowledge is. I mean, there's a saying, that knowledge is power.
Hmm.
And regardless, knowledge is something I'm really, really interested in. So, I mean, just learning about really interesting stuff I've never heard of before on Wikipedia is just very interesting for me. And given that, it can be edited by anyone,
Hmm.
that means that all the updates to what's happening around the world is coming in real time.
Yeah.
And that's really awesome. The fact that everything is updated frequently so that you can get all the latest information on stuff. It's a bit I mean it's a bit like a sort of news outlet in some cases, but like for the most part, it's a very intriguing source of knowledge for me. So that's why I like
I
to read it a
bet.
lot.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Tell me, as I mean, I imagine there have been words out there that have stumped you. But I know that there have been words out there that you've clinched championships with. What's probably one of the more difficult words that you've had to spell that you've correctly spelled, and you were just like, yes, I got that one. I beat that one.
All right. So let's see. A very good word that I got in one of the B's is nisoid. And at first it sounds like a very difficult word, and it kind of is. But then you realize that nisoid means relating to nice, which is a rock, I guess. It's a mineral.
Uh huh.
Hence, it's Gneiss. It's German. But I had already learned this word before, so when I got nisoid, I was like, oh wait, I can make the connection to that. And so I spelled that, and then GNEISSOID, nisoid. And it's a very, very good word. And
I would have
I was like, yeah, I actually got it.
So the silent G to start the word. I mean,
And then not only that, there's an EI, and then there's a double S.
yeah, I'm done. I would have never even got that.
But like the main reason why it's spelled that way is because the word nice is from German, and that word follows the German spelling rules. So the way that words are spelled in the language, you don't normally have a GN at the beginning, but I guess this one just has it. And then the EI is, well, that's very common in German words, and the SS is also sort of common.
So what does that word mean?
Nice. It's a sort of rock or mineral, so it's a geological term, sort of.
Okay.
And so nisoid is basically GNEISS and then OID at the end there. So relating to nice.
So speaking of words that you've had success with, you recently clinched your 5th national Scripps Howard Spelling Bee here recently in San Angelo. What was the word that you were able to win that bee with?
Yeah. So my winning word for this year's regional spelling bee was rubric. And basically it's the system for, I guess, grading a test or an essay based on how well it is, and you have different factors for, different things, and you can tally up your score and see what you get at the end. That's basically the rubric. So it's a relatively common term for like academics and whatnot.
So when you heard that word, were you like thinking, yes, this is it. I got it.
Okay, so like, not to sound overtly, not to sound, basically, I guess, yeah.
Sort of, yeah.
I'm trying my best not to sound really, really haughty when I say that.
Yeah.
But I kind of like knew the word, so. So basically, oh man, I think I got this. So I guess that was sort of what I was feeling, I guess you could say.
So whenever you get these words, because I remember as a kid during the summer watching the National Spelling Bee. How do you actually process it in order for it to come out? What's the steps there?
Yeah. So basically, the steps to sort of recognizing a word and then being able to output that to recite it when it comes in the bee. So, what you could say is go into the depths of how the brain works and explain that.
Oh, we're going
there.
But I know
okay. Someone has already done that, and I do not remember most of it because that is overtly complicated in a subject that I'm probably going to be looking at right after this when I search it up on Wikipedia. But let's take a look at the actual way I look at words and understand them. So.
Yeah.
The best way, at least for me, to memorize, to learn the words that are the hardest, is to understand why they're spelled that way. Because if you understand why, then you're like, oh wait, this comes from there, which comes from that. So if I remember that, and then I can trace everything back.
So you go straight to the source.
Yes, basically, I
Pretty
go
much.
to the source. So that's why roots or stems are a very important part of the learning process. They're basically mini words. They come from other languages, and then you can combine several of them to create a new word. So chronometer is a good example. It's a measuring time. That's what it is. Chrono, that's time, and meter is measuring, so time measuring, and that's what it does. So if you know these roots, then you can easily cover like a really big chunk of words. Because A, you know how they're spelled, and B, you know the meaning of those roots. So you just know the spelling and vocabulary of a good chunk of the words. And then combine that with the spelling rules from earlier, and then you can come up with, get even more words out of the way, and then the only words left are the genuinely difficult ones that are going to knock you out.
Wow. That's impressive. That's very impressive. The fact that you're going directly to the source of it and understanding that, and you're only 12 years old. That's what's probably more impressive about everything else. So, and you've been doing this since you were 2 years old.
Yeah. I think when I was 1.5, my interest in it sort of began. Back in that time, we were, yeah, I think roughly that time, 1.5, 2, we were living in Cleveland, in Ohio. And the Cleveland Public Library, we would usually go there, like once in a week or two to get more books. And there's always a section literally devoted to alphabet toys. So obviously, a kid who's very much interested in that is going to basically beeline straight to the, and by the way, wonderful pun, beeline. One is going to beeline straight to that place, and that's what I did. And then it just run through the whole thing, and I was very interested in the alphabet.
Yeah.
And eventually, my parents noticed this, and then they created this favorable environment for me to excel in the field. And then by that time, it had grown into a passion for the language and for spelling. And that's when 2.5, my parents discovered about the spelling bees and the national spelling bee.
Yeah.
And then 2.5, I competed in my first spelling bee. And then from there, everything just went on. I realized I'm turning this slowly, segueing this into a biography of my life, but I've already done the majority of that part. I should note that when I was 3, when I was 3 years old, I became a member of the High IQ Society, Mensa. And then when I was 5, I became a Davidson Young Scholar. So
Oh my gosh.
basically, high IQ. So
I love this
I
kid.
realize I am beginning to flaunt every single thing
Hey man,
I'm saying.
your credential, baby. You gotta flaunt it. All right, last question before we actually get to some spelling words.
Yes.
You're talking. We're talking with Akash Vukoti. Here he is on his way to his 5th Scripps Howard National Spelling Bee, mind you, from right here in San Angelo. What do you want to be when you grow up? I mean, you're talking. You can spell all these things, high IQ. I imagine your dad is a pharmacist, owns Angelo Pharmacy right here in town, right here on Sherwood Way. Go ahead and check him out there at Angelo Pharmacy.
Yes, please check him out.
What do you want to be when you grow up? Have you thought about that?
Yeah, so I'll be honest. What I want to be when I grow up is a bit of a complicated question for me because I have so many interests and I have so many things I want to do. From like, I originally wanted to become an astronaut to see if there was any life on Mars.
Okay.
The thing is now, I know that NASA's currently working on literally that exact project right now, but they already have people they're working with to get things done. But like being an astronaut would be super, super interesting because I get to explore space. And then after I did the shows with Mr. Steve Harvey, I also wanted to, become like him and a TV show host and maybe
Okay.
an actor as well.
Well,
And
you
then-
got the charisma.
Oh yeah,
You got that,
thank
man.
you.
You can probably sit in my chair and go interview folks here.
That would be actually pretty fun.
You'd be great at that.
Thank you so much. So you have this, and then you have all sorts of other things that I want to do. I'm also interested in, public service and serving the people.
Okay.
And maybe at some point I might try politics if I wanted to.
Okay.
And I don't know, maybe I could become the president. I don't know. I'm just throwing things out there. But no, really though. Like, seriously, there's just so many other things that I want to do. And so I guess I'll just see what happens.
I like it. Akash Vukoti here clinched his fifth national spelling bee in Washington D.C. It'll be in May.
Yes.
The exact date? Can you give me that?
Yeah. So it's planned to be around the week of Memorial Day.
Mhm.
So that's from roughly May 30th to June 2nd of this year.
And this is going to happen when you turn 13, correct?
Yes, that is going to. The first part of the bee is going to literally happen the day after I turn 13.
Right on.
So
Heck yeah.
there.
Oh, that's going to be fun to watch. We're going to be watching you throughout that week, and hopefully you're bringing back some hardware back to West Texas. So
Thank you so much, and I'll be doing my best to become the finalist and hopefully the champion.
I have no doubt that you'll at least get there. Be somebody that's going to be there at the final standings.
Thank
All
you
right,
so
so
much.
let's get to some actual words because I'm curious to see if you can get some of these because some of these I was looking and I pulled these off the internet. It was the top 100 hardest words to spell, most difficult words to spell, and I was looking at them, was like, oh my gosh, I would have never like. I'm thinking at 12 years old, no way I would have been able to do this, much less being at 35. So here you go. I have no doubt that you can at least get in the neighborhood of some of these, but we'll give the old college try. All right, this first word it is of Portuguese descent. Here,
Okay.
I'll say it here. Ibacaxi.
Oh wait. Is this the word for pineapple?
Yes, that is the
Yep,
actual definition. A
it
large
is.
sweet pineapple grown in Brazil. Ibacaxi.
Yeah. So this is a really good word. Yeah. So if I remember correctly, I think it's pronounced something more like a abakashi, probably something like that.
Okay.
And it's Abacaxi.
Get out of here. That is the
Yeah.
correct spelling. Trammell, put up the spelling of that if you can.
It's ridiculous, but
It
the
is.
reason I know that is because of the spelling rules. In Portuguese, or at least when Portuguese words come into English, they're probably different sound in the actual language, but when it comes into English, the sh sound is sometimes spelled with X. It can also be spelled with CH, but for the most part, you're going to see CH, but there's a few words like this word that have an X.
That's impressive. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Ibacaxi, the large sweet pineapple grown in Brazil. All right, next word. This is the word is coelacanth.
Oh.
Coelacanth. Any order of lobe-finned fishes known chiefly from the Paleozoic and Mesozoic fossils.
All right.
Coelacanth.
Yeah, so is it pronounced coelacanth or coelacanth?
Coelacanth. I believe it's canth.
Yeah, I'm asking if it's a O or a in the middle. So coelacanth or coelacanth?
La.
Yeah, okay. Coelacanth. Coelacanth. Coelacanth.
There it is.
And the reason,
Coelacanth.
and again, this time it's not the spelling rules. This time it's the roots. Because coelo is a root meaning hollow or cavity.
Okay.
And acanth, I think, is a word meaning thorn. Yeah, it means thorn. Acanth means thorn.
Have you ever used that word in a sentence? Like just having a conversation with somebody?
Well, the thing is, no, not really. But the reason why they put it in the dictionary is because there will be some people who use that. So, I mean, I assume, people who actually work with this, so zoologists maybe, people who will actually, work with these organisms and they know what that's that.
So coelacanth, yeah, that's impressive. You're 2 for 2 here.
Let's go.
Let's go. All right.
Hoping for a clean sweep.
Yes. All right. Number 3. We're getting 5 words here with this here. Dole.
Oh, dole. Is this word from Hindi?
It is a wild dog occurring from India to southern Siberia that typically hunts in packs and often preys on large animals such as deer and antelope.
Okay, so dole. 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 DHOLE. Dole.
There you go.
Yeah.
Correct spelling.
I should note that this is one of those words where it's a little bit harder, where neither the spelling rules nor the roots will help you. Because this word is Hindi or Persian, Sanskrit, something like that. Basically, those languages don't use the Latin script. So it becomes, I really wish I didn't have to say this, but words that come from different languages that use different scripts, then they come into English, we butcher the spelling so much, and it sucks. It absolutely sucks. So words like dole, really, it should be something like DHOL. The DH makes sense because the sound is, I guess, aspirated is the term in Hindi, the original language. But when it comes to English, we turn it into DH because it's really hard to pronounce the aspirated D. And then not only that, then we go ridiculous and add an E at the end for no reason. The original word was not dole, the word is dole, so
Dole.
there's no reason to put an E, but they did it, so.
Yeah, well, I mean, if they changed it, I'm sure you'd like to offer your opinion for that.
Yeah, but then again, it always matters on what people use the most. So for now, the common consensus is DHOLE, but I would really like for that to be changed.
Right on. All right. So, Akash, you are 3 for 3.
Yes.
Moving on to the fourth word here, and I'm going to try not to butcher the pronunciations of these because I'm not a spelling guy, and I don't. These words are just beyond me. So we're going to give it a try here. All right. Fourth word, Logaria.
Oh, Logaria.
I'm gonna give you the definition of it.
Yes.
Okay. Excessive and often incoherent talkativeness or wordiness. The using the word in a sentence, I found this one pretty humorous. It was the latest case in Twitter's attempt Tuesday for the first time to fact check Mr. Trump's tweet, Logaria.
Okay. So Logaria. Yes.
Okay. Yep.
Logaria. Logaria. Logorrhea. Logaria.
This one was
OEA.
LOG. Wait. Say that one more time.
Yeah, I said.
No. You are right. You were.
I said Logorrhea.
Yes, you were right. I was looking at.
Yeah, there we go.
I had to trick myself to pronounce it right.
And
no, your spelling is right. Your spelling is right.
I should probably mention that not only does this word come from two roots, and I'll mention that in a moment, but this word was the 1999 national championship word.
Really?
Yes.
Logaria.
Yes, it was.
Okay.
It genuinely was the 1999 National Spelling Bee championship word.
So for the folks out there in Facebook, YouTube world, I'm the one that got that wrong because I was looking at my pronunciation of how I'm going to pronounce that. But yes, Akash, you were correct on the Logaria. So congratulations.
Let's go.
4 for 4.
4 for 4.
All right. Last one. See if we can go 5 for 5. By the way, here on Facebook, people they're amazed of what you're doing.
Awesome.
Juan A. Morales says, "Congratulations, young man."
Oh.
Emily Fitchett saying, "Congratulations to you." Teresa Duran, "Congratulations, young man. You will be great at whatever you decide to be. Keep
thank
up
you
the
so
awesome
much.
work."
Yay.
And last but not least, Angie Chapa, "Very impressive. Congratulations and well-deserved. Never stop learning." So,
Yay!
there
Thank
you
you
go.
so much. I might use "never stop learning" as like a catchphrase.
there we go. Yeah.
It's a nice one.
All right. Number 5, the last and final word. I'm trying to stump you here. I have been unsuccessful. Number 5 here. The word is kievit. The definition is the soft, dense, light brown, woolly undercoat of the musk ox used in making fabrics.
Oh wait, hold on. Is this pronounced kievit or is it kiviat?
There it is, kievit.
Oh wait. Oh.
You're killing
Not
me
only
on
this,
these.
I should mention, I literally looked at this word yesterday.
Get out of here.
If I remember this, it's Qiviut.
There you go.
Yes!
There you go.
There we go. 5 for 5.
5 for 5, and you're stumping me on the pronunciations of
Because
these.
I went through a list of, I think it was day before yesterday, but I went through a list of all the random weird words that begin with Q, not followed by U. Kiviat is one of them. And the reason why is because it's Eskimo, or not really Eskimo. It's a Native American language from up north. And by up north, I mean like Canada, sort of, very northern Canada, where that sort of thing is common. But also, the languages there have, I'll try to pronounce the sound, but it's ka sound.
Say it again.
Ka sound. It's basically a k, but you move the point of contact a little bit further back.
Okay.
I learned what IPA was, so like I went through that. IPA not being the beer thing, it's International Phonetic Alphabet. It's basically the primary way for most of the world to dictate how a word is pronounced. Except for Merriam-Webster's, which uses their own diacritic system. So I've learned both.
Has there been anybody that has ever just like, when you're out in the street or wherever you may be, they just give you a random word and you haven't been able to spell it?
All right, so I think there probably was one time. I think
That one
actually,
that one
not
time.
one time really. I mean, it was sort of one time because like this was actually, and I'm going to promo mode for a second. This is at the pharmacy, Angelo Pharmacy,
Uh-huh.
which you were at the grand opening of it.
Yes.
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 So everyone, make sure to go there. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
The shameless plug. We got to do it.
Yes, it's just shameless sponsor plug. Anyway, but I'm pretty sure, like, if I remember correctly, one of the attendees there, who's super super awesome, his last name is Shillelagh or Chilele, and it just so happened to be that there is another word called Shillelagh, which is spelled exactly the same, and I'm gonna get to how you spell Chilele. His last name, which is Chillelagh. It's ridiculous, but it's a great last name, and I actually managed to recall it because I'd gone through that word like a few days before, and again like that, like the week before I'd gone through while I was going through the list of very good words. One of the words was shillelagh, spelled the same with an S at the front, and that's Irish Gaelic, and it's a type of sword, I think, and that is spelled almost the same. And I recalled that, and I just spelled this, and somehow I got it right. So that's the time I almost, but I did remember what it was, and I got it right.
Really? Wow, that's
super super good. So that time, like, my knowledge of words saved me. But I'm kidding. But like, yeah, it's a very good word.
I bet it is. Yes, indeed. All right. Akash Vukoti, he is going to the National Spelling Bee, making his 5th appearance there, which is, I mean, just, it's a really, really cool thing. It's the National Spelling Bee in Washington, D.C. You were the youngest ever, first ever first grader to participate in the spelling bee, and you were what, 7 years old?
Yeah, I was 6 years old.
6 years old. 6 years old. So, you'll be making the stop there in DC coming up in May of this year. So we'll be looking forward to seeing you there. Any last words, Akash, that you want to share with San Angelo, West Texas? Anything that's on your mind, my man?
Yeah, so here are I'm gonna just put up some. We're not gonna put a title here, but some words of inspiration. Basically, what I'd like to say to like all the young fellows here in San Angelo in the West Texas region, watching this right now. So here's basically a guide to how to do awesome things. So
Okay.
basically, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to basically set up find something that interests you, basically. For me, I was way too young to realize this, but my parents discovered that I had this interest in spellings in the English language. But for you, try to find out what you're interested in, something that you are really, really passionate about, and then set up a goal for what you plan to do. So what you should do then is work very, very hard on the goal. Get everyone you can, your family, your friends, everyone you can, to help you with the project. Sorry, with the goal that you're trying to accomplish. Try to separate your goal into little sub goals, I guess you can say, targets. So that way you can ease the process and make things, you can see how much progress that you're making more clearly. And also, it's easier to follow several smaller goals than just one gigantic goal.
I like it.
Plan ahead, basically. And after you plan ahead, just work hard from the bottom of your heart to achieving that goal. Do whatever it takes to get there. Just believe in yourself, work hard, and success will follow you. So that's my guide for how to do awesome things.
I love it. I love it. Akash, congratulations once again for making the National Spelling Bee, the 5th time you ever be making the trip to Washington, D.C. for that. We'll be rooting for you come May. If I don't know how much I can help you with spelling words, but if you're more than welcome to come back and hang out with us here. And of course, and then I imagine we'll be seeing you at some point down the road on YouTube. You can give us the handle for your YouTube channel there.
Oh, awesome! All right, so here's sponsored portion number two. It's not sponsored. There's no money exchange here, but it's time for shameless promotion, which is my YouTube channel. So my YouTube channel is just my name. It's AKASHVUKOTI, and on this channel there's lots of other there's lots of different stuff that I produce, content, I guess. So you have this Word of the Day series, which is basically well, really, we don't usually publish it every single day. It's more of a weekly thing where we share 5 interesting words to share with people so that you can increase your vocabulary and you can improve it, so that way you can use these words and they're going to be helpful. And then as well as that, there's a synonyms series, which is basically there's a lot of series. My channel is entirely series, I'll be honest. You have synonyms, which is basically synonyms for super common words. So instead of saying that someone's nice, because that ain't, I mean, obviously saying someone's nice is super awesome, but like that's just become a bit hackneyed. It's a bit too common. So what you can do is with the synonyms series, you can find the synonyms for these words, so that way you don't have to keep repeating the same thing over and over again, and you can basically make your vocabulary bigger as well, improve it.
Okay.
So instead of saying nice, you can say words like awesome or amazing or fantastic or fantabulous or spectacular, yeah, so on. The list goes on.
There
but
we go.
this is the sort of thing that's there. As well as this, there's also math tricks, because like math is super important, and so you have all sorts of tricks and tips, tips and tricks, or tricks and tips, that's gonna help you to breeze through easier. You have a science series called Why. Basically, for example, why is the sky blue? In short terms, Rayleigh scattering, but like, I mean, it's really Rayleigh scattering or Rayleigh scattering. Like, what's that? So we explain things in much simpler terms to help understand what's going on. And then there's also a news of the week. Yep, I realize there's very much diversified content, but the news of the week is basically I summarize the news, and I tell you, everything that you need to know in a video. Is short some of the times, but yeah, this is basically what I do with the news of the week. It uploads every Saturday. Yeah, every Saturday. So that's another thing.
I'm gonna have to catch that. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah. So basically, there's a lot of stuff that I do. It's a very diversified thing. So if you're interested in any of the things that I mentioned, do subscribe.
Like and subscribe
and hit the notification bell for more videos, and comment if you want.
There you go.
All right. Share the video across all multimedia platforms. I'm kidding. I'm not going that far. But yeah.
Well, there we are. Akash Vukoti. He is our San Angelo spelling champion. Probably one of the sharpest dressed kids that I know.
Thank you so much.
Every time I've seen this kid, he's in a shirt and tie, even a coat. So he is on his way to the Scripps Howard National Spelling Bee in May in Washington, D.C. Akash, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Congratulations on winning the regional, and most importantly, good luck to you in May.
Thank you so much, Manny. And thank you so much to everyone watching right now. For watching this as we speak. This has been super, super fun, and this is gonna be very exciting. And I'm gonna be doing my best in the nationals in May and June.
Well, we have no doubt that you will. All right, he's Akash Vukoti. I'm Manny Diaz for San Angelo Live. We'll see you next time.